92% of people fail their New Year's resolution goal, and half of those who start within the first month will quit. But don't let that discourage you, because with the right strategies, you can definitely be part of the 8% who succeeds. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 powerful tips you can start using right after you finish watching this video to help you stay on track with your fitness goals this year. And if you are new here, my name is Terry. I've been a personal trainer for 7 years, helping people lose fat and build muscle. And my goal with this channel is to help you live a healthier life and also feel your absolute best. Okay, so let's start with tip number 1, reforming your identity. This is by far the most important thing you need to do if you want to see long-lasting results. And I'm not saying you need to change who you are, but you need to change how you think about yourself. If you always think that you're lazy, uncommitted, and someone who never follows through, then you're going to have a really hard time sticking to your fitness goals. So the next time you're stuck, whether it be showing up for your workouts or following your nutrition plan, I want you to ask yourself, what would someone who is healthy and fit do in this situation? And this was something I struggled with personally when it came to making YouTube videos, because I was never consistent. I would show up for 1 week, and then the next week I would lose motivation. And after reflecting for a little bit, I realized that my issue was that I didn't tie myself to the identity of being a YouTuber. So if I ever run into this rut again, I would ask myself, what would a successful YouTuber do in this situation? And that's the same question you need to be asking yourself, not with YouTube, but with your fitness goals. The thing with motivation is that it's a feeling. It comes and goes. You may be motivated watching this video right now, wanting to achieve your fitness goals. The next week, that motivation might not be there. Tip number 2, you need to be specific and realistic about your goals. And I'm sure you heard this before, but it's true. Every time I onboard a new client, I would ask them, what are your goals? And these are the typical responses I get. I want to lose weight, lose fat, tone up, and get stronger, which are all fine to have. But what does that really look like? So instead of being generic with your goal, I want you to break it down to 4 different parts. What, how, when, and why. So let's say your goal is to lose weight. That would be your what. But how much weight do you want to lose? Maybe it's 20 pounds. And when do you want to lose it by? In 6 months. And why do you want to lose it? Because you want to look and feel great for your honeymoon. Who else wouldn't want that, right? That's how you should be writing out your fitness goals, because when you can be specific and there's a deadline and there's a purpose behind it, you're more likely to stick to their goal instead of just having it pass by your mind every single year as another New Year's resolution that you end up failing on. You also have to be realistic with your goals. Give yourself enough or even more time than you need, because it's going to take longer than you think. Just because you see a family or friend or someone you see online can do it in such a short time, it doesn't mean it will be sustainable for you. Tip number 3 is breaking down your goals into tasks. If you ever played any video game before, you'll notice that for every game, you have a major goal or quest that you have to do. And in order to do that, you might have to do some side quests, upgrade your gear, level your character. These are the tasks you need to do on a daily and weekly basis in order to get to your end goal. So take a piece of paper and write down all the tasks that you have to do in order to maybe lose that 20 pounds in 6 months. You would have to be in a calorie deficit, make sure you're working out 3 times a week, getting in at least 5,000 steps a day, and sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. Because without this task list or side quest that you have to be doing every single week, you're going to be running around like a headless chicken, not knowing what to do, and end up just giving up on your goal because you have no sense of direction. And that brings us to tip number 4, which is reduce and create friction, which allows us to do those tasks easily. Make it as easy as possible to do those things that reach you closer to your goal, and make it harder to do those things that are pulling you away from your goal. Something I always forgot to take was creatine when I had it in the powder form, because it was just not convenient for me to mix it with water, and I was just not in the habit of doing it. But it wasn't until I started taking tablets and putting it next to my multivitamin and my fish oil, that's when I started to be consistent, because I reduced the friction of taking creatine, switching over to tablets. So take a look at where you can reduce friction in your life. It might be going to a gym that's nearby. It might not be as nice, might not have all the equipment you like, but you're more likely to go to that gym because it's closer instead of driving further away. Or you might be the opposite. Maybe you go to a gym that's further away and it's motivating because it has all the equipment and it has the environment, and you don't mind driving further out if it motivates you to go. Or you know that you're the person that won't leave the house once you get home from work. So if that's the case, you should probably work out in the morning or when you have your lunch break, so you can get that workout out of the way and you can stay consistent, because you know once you get home, you're not leaving. And if there's a specific food in your house that you have a hard time controlling how much of it you eat, for example ice cream, then don't have it in your house. create that friction so it's harder for you to over consume on those things. This doesn't mean you have to remove it from your life, but make it harder for yourself because it's sabotaging you from your fitness goals. And especially if you have no self-control over it, make it harder for yourself. Maybe you only get it when you head outside and you have to go out physically to buy the item. Because the environment that you put yourself in will either make it easier or harder for you to achieve your fitness goals. And tip number 5, you need to be monitoring your progress. Going back to that video game analogy, when you see yourself progressing with that experience or completion bar, you're more likely to keep playing because you know that you're making progress towards that final goal that you want to accomplish. It's the same with your fitness goals. When you see yourself losing inches off your waist, losing weight on the scale, getting stronger in the gym, and using a heavier weight, you're more likely to continue. Then you also know that what you're doing is working because you're putting in the work, you see the progress, and that creates more motivation to take more action, to see even more progress. So if you incorporate these 5 tips, I promise you, you'll have a much easier time reaching your goals, at least sticking to them. It will still be hard. I'm not going to say it's a walk in the park, but you'll have a direction and a guide to know what you're doing and if you're making any progress, and it will create more motivation to keep you going. You don't have to be perfect with your workout or your nutrition. However, you do need to be consistent. And as long as you keep going, you can't fail at this. So let me know down below what are some of your fitness goals this year. And thank you for watching this video. You're going to do great, and I'll see you in the next one.